Hello, 2023. We have missed you all, and I'm pumped about all this FC Cincinnati news that is coming down the pike. Shaking off the rust over here as we try to end our podcast hibernation and get back to work. When I was home for the holidays, all the older people in my family said our generation was a bunch of lazies. And then I looked at our podcast feed and said, yep, they must be right. We have not got to work, but FC Cincinnati is finally starting to crank out some news and getting the team whipped back into shape. Brian and I, before the show, were talking about developing maybe some new stuff and some new sounds for you all. Hopefully we can get some before the season starts. Our goal is to make some sound audio improvements to the entry of the show. Now I've put us on the spot. We have to do it. Want to give a big shout out to our 2023 sponsor, Apollo Home. They have stuck with us during the off season, and we appreciate it. Some of you have also stuck with us. We appreciate it as we launch in the new year. We, of course, are always looking in the off season as we ramp up for you all to ramp up with us. I better get into these show notes. Brian's got a lot of things for us here today. First, I'll start with the introductions. Mentioned you twice. Welcome back, Brian. How are you? How was your off season?
Off season's been wonderful. My wife's been happy with me because I haven't, bailed on Saturday plans for 30 weekends in a row. So we're all good right now. Just getting those brownie points right now, big guy.
Nice. Well, I'm proud of you, man. I was expecting another baby announcement though.
No. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
And we brought him in right at the end of the season. In case you didn't meet him, Justin, welcome back to Cincinnati Soccer Talk. You were a big part of our offseason World Cup shows, weren't you? Oh, we got to unmute you here, buddy. Sorry. That's my fault.
That's all right. Yes, I was. It was a lot of fun. World Cup was fantastic, one to remember, but definitely getting ready for the MLS season.
I feel like we have to get that band back together with Jeff Tebbets, the great hostess with mostest, whatever you call it, to discuss the craziness that is Greg Berhalter and Gio Reyna.
Oh my goodness!
My goodness!
Yeah, a lot of those, if you missed them, they're not all on our podcast feed. We only put the first few out in our podcast feed, but they are mostly all out on YouTube. So I would go check out our YouTube channel. Everything was aired live out over there. And if you're looking for catch-up World Cup coverage, that's where you can find it. Big shout-out to Jeff Tebbets, who led the charge on that. I was nowhere to be found whatsoever, so good for him.
Real quick, special thanks to Share Cheese Bar and then the whole team over at Greenworks for allowing us to do 2 live shows and then Share Cheese, sponsoring that whole deal. So thank you very much for Emily and then Jeff, of course, and DJ and Adnan and of course Justin yourself. So great job, guys.
I did watch and attend. Those are fun. Grainworks is a cool place.
Dude,
and
love it.
It's awesome that they have us there. You were also there, big piece of it. Jeremy Lance, how are you doing, bud?
I'm doing okay. I just had a childhood friend that has been a lifelong friend try to blackmail me, but other than that,
I thought you were going to say that you lost like all your free betting credits on FanDuel or something.
No, but I did. I heard Boston is the expert at MLS betting, and he's seasoned at it. So I'm gonna need him to walk me through it maybe at some point as we get close to the season.
We need to convince all these DraftKings or whatever to do the bet $1 that Brandon Vasquez touches a ball or Lucho Acosta touches a ball in the game, like they're doing with all these NFL bets, like $50 if the Cleveland Browns gain a yard. Almost didn't happen though. Almost didn't happen.
I mean, yeah, if we're talking the Browns, that is a toss-up if that's going to happen.
It's a legit bet. Put $1. That's amazing. Sorry.
Yeah, Nwobano with the yellow cards would be amazing.
I'd have to have a little bit better odds than 1-50, but maybe.
I heard a rumor that FC Cincinnati is putting a sports book in the bottom of Taft's. Did you guys hear that?
Well, I mean, it's not they said they are putting one in. I don't know. Is it going to be in Taft? Is that where they're putting?
In the basement? Yes, sir. That's
Okay.
gonna be their sport.
That's not the
their
permanent
original
location.
until Jeff Birding bulldozes the historical district and builds his mega mall.
When he does that again, when he bulldozes stuff again. Can't wait. Just don't rip down a stadium I use to run my day job. Just don't do that again. I had to deal with that once.
David Moore in out our Facebook chat saying, "Yeah, it's already announced, Boston, you idiot. Taft's Ale House is the spot for Lance to lose all of his money, and I can certainly help you with that. Just go ahead, right off the year, $100 FC Cincinnati win MLS Cup. You have a 1 in however many teams there are now shot. St. Louis has thrown me off.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it. I'm excited. I have not signed up for any of the betting websites yet. I'm just a little worried, but I am excited to see how that changes for Major League Soccer. I know Ken Hedger.
I'm fine with it. Can we cool it on the advertising?
Yeah.
No.
Break, every commercial break, everything on my social media feed.
You're ridiculous.
I thought
right
Boston's forehead was going to have like a Bet Fred sign on it.
Seriously,
I would sell that space.
But no, DraftKings, if you want to sponsor us,
we'll take it.
Fire Jeremy.
Absolutely.
We'll fire
That's
Jeremy
fine.
right now, or buy him a new microphone. But no, seriously, like you're right. But no, I'll get a tattoo that says DraftKings if you want to do it. Let's do it right now. Come on, we'll film it live on air.
I'm in.
No, I totally get what you're saying. It is overkill. Actually, I read an article today that said the governor is putting them on warning because of how excessive it's getting. But we'll see.
That's one word to describe it. Yes.
If you're gonna limit these sports betting ads, limit all political ads in October and November. That's all I gotta say.
I didn't realize that was susceptible to this much advertising until it started. Now I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I still see a lot of ads.
Just wait till Apple Plus, baby. That's all it's gonna be.
Who gets? The jersey sponsors are coming too, right?
Oh yeah.
We have that. We have that super long deal with Mercy Health, so not over here. We're going to be the healthy bunch, but somebody's going to get some.
Can we get Kroger on one sleeve and Dafa Bet on the other?
Mm-hmm. We do have, we do have a Kroger sleeve sponsor. Do those come on?
Has Kroger started opening up a sports book? Are they doing that yet? I mean,
they have two. They're trying to open up 2 in Butler County, but they haven't been approved yet. And I think there's like 10 overall. But hey. Might as well. I want to know if those Krogers will have a shorter line for the betting or for the Starbucks. Long lines either way.
I don't know. Target Starbucks, I feel like gets bogged down more, but I digress.
We're getting there.
All right, let's get into some real soccer news. The FC Cincinnati schedule is out, and I tell you what, it's got some surprises on there. I was especially surprised with the weird lack of Western Conference travel games. I want to get your guys' first impression. I guess first off, the season home opener. Surprise! Cincinnati in February. We are
gorgeous time of the year
at home for the first time ever in our existence. Anybody else caught off guard?
I already have a cold just thinking about it.
My wife bought me this sweater already. We're ready to go. I'll tell you what, though, we had like a early March game last year. It's like I think it was our home opener that I took the kids to, and it was like 70 or something. It was like the best night before the next like four games. But
yeah, I believe that was DC, and the weather was lovely.
I'm excited. I'm excited to open up the year here. Not go down, not just chalk up 2 or 3 points to the rest of the league right off the bat. So
I'm pumped. It's against Houston. Houston fans are like, come on.
It would have been more pronounced if it would have been Miami, but we'll take Houston.
I just realized that I might not make that match.
What?
I know.
Never miss match number 1.
Gotta go to Frontier and rebook my flights.
That's the most. Yeah, that's the most hopped up one. You'll need hot cocoa for that one, but it'll be great. Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm just excited to have a home match. I'm so used to watching FCC on the road, but I don't know if you guys are like this, but I get psyched like about 2 weeks before the season, and you're desperate. You haven't seen your team play in a long time. You're ready to actually get back out there, and you're away. So we'll finally have that. moment of just going to see the team we like when we want to see
At
them.
least it's better than the USL days where we'd be away for like the first month.
Yeah.
Mhm. True. Well,
And
at least
not even to Louisville where we could go.
yeah. Well, at Boston, at least you can you won't be freezing in Austin. You'll be freezing in Cincinnati.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you go. Yeah, you're right. I went to Austin last year for game 1 and it was terrible. So might as well play it here if it's going to be cold anyway.
Flew all that way to watch him get dog walked. That had to be fun.
It was miserable.
Spent hundreds.
Huge break. If you noticed, it's kind of weird because July somehow still has 4 games in it, but there is a massive gap between July and August, mid-July to mid-August, where the Leagues Cup has slid in there. And in the league's infinite wisdom, they crammed 4 matches from July 1st to July 15th. That is a rush.
You called
Sweet.
you called it the Leagues Cup, but I call it the MLS 2 International Challenge because if Lucho gets hurt in any of these matches, I'm going to riot.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Do we know how many matches each team is like going to be guaranteed? Is it just 1 and then you progress, or is it
No.
multiple?
No, I think it's at least
It's a
2
group.
Okay.
Yeah.
group stage.
And
something like
FCC is
that.
guaranteed.
4?
We did guarantee ourselves some homes, at least 1 home game because of the placement. We made the playoffs last year, so you know what? You know where a good place to read about it is? I put a great article on CincinnatiSoccer.com explaining the Leagues Cup. Back.
Write that down.
You know how awesome the Leagues Cup is, Boston? I just clicked the schedule and it says Error 503. So that's how exciting the Leagues Cup's going to be this year on
Year
Apple
1.
Plus.
Year 1.
Oh,
All the Ronaldo fans are bored waiting to get into their website.
My biggest hope with Leagues Cup is that it just is another trigger for Mexico fans. If MLS does anywhere near okay in that tournament, Liga MX fans are going to lose their minds. They've been mad ever since Seattle won and we won the All-Star game and the challenges and everything lately hasn't gone their way and they're super frustrated. It's awesome.
Is there any Canadian Premier League teams? All I saw was MLS.
No, it's just Mexico. It's just Liga MX and MLS. It's just a joint venture between the two of them, right? It's not like Champions League where it's the whole CONCACAF.
Yeah, no, Canadian Premier League wouldn't bring in that sweet TV revenue.
Listen, I watch it.
Cincinnati will watch anything. Do you see our World Cup rating?
I mean,
I'll do soccer on TV here.
I'll do whatever it takes to get Emery Welshman back on TV. That's all I got to say. You know,
that's a good
it's my
point.
boy, my dude.
He plays for the fighting Tim Hortons or whatever, right?
Fury, maybe Fury. I don't know.
Well, I don't. Have you had a chance to look at it, guys? What's the match? What's the one you're pointing to already? And like that's the one.
Honestly, I am really weighing going over to St. Louis. It's early. It's not that terrible of a trip. I'm very excited to go check that one out. But I think, in all honesty, the team that got me into Major League Soccer was the Seattle Sounders. I hate to say it. I mean, I liked Columbus Crew. I mean, you can blackmail me with Columbus Crew pictures. My brother-in-law, I'm sure, will. But like, I can't tell you how many times I pulled up my phone on. Hell, I don't even think it was like Watch. It was whatever the predecessor to Watch ESPN was on your phone. And I watched so many of those late night Seattle Sounders matches. And I'm so excited that they come here pretty early in the year. I think it's like in March March 11th. So I that's the one I'm sharping. Just dual fan to be excited to
what drew you into Seattle? Was it like the
Clint Dempsey,
Drew? Oh, I thought it was like the Drew Carey ownership.
Clint Dempsey, 110%.
Yeah, captain.
You know, I'm going to boo the hell out of Jordan Morris, but no, it was definitely Clint Dempsey. But
Rudy Diaz is worth the price of admission.
Oh, for
Watching
sure.
him.
Yeah.
And they hopefully, well, not hopefully, they should be more healthy. And also, you know, they're in the Club World Cup that starts pretty soon. So I think there'll be a lot of anticipation for that match in TQL.
All right, that's a good one. Tom in chat's got Colorado. Let's see here. We got a couple. Jose, and he's not surprised. Liga MX hasn't done well against MLS in the last couple of years. He's got family. He's from Mexico. And he's got a lot of family that watches it. So I guess they're not shocked down there of the slip there. Just catching up on some of our chats. Justin, what's your go-to match this year?
Well, I was going to say Toronto FC because we didn't get to see the superstar signings in our 2 rapid-fire matches that we had with them early in the year. But I'm going to go with CF Montreal because it's getting really annoying not being able to beat them right now. I mean, it's like 2 matches within the season, a 4-3 result, a 4-3 loss. And I think all FCC fans remember how hard it is for us to score and then to have results like that. It's very frustrating. So I just would like to be able to, with Wilfred Nancy being out, being out as coach at CF Montreal, I think we can get them. And the home game is May 17th. So it's a midweek game. So that's a difficult travel for CF Montreal. So it should be fun.
No. Good eye. Lost their coach. They've lost 4 or 5 players now.
A lot of players. A lot of good players.
Mm-hmm. So ripe for the picking. So I like your eye there. All right, Mr. Lance.
I'm going to go with July 15th. Nashville comes to town. I still am bitter about that 1-1 draw last year. Where our seats are, we're right under the away supporters. So just hearing them just getting rowdy and excited. And I think Shaq Moore had just signed. He hadn't even played yet. And he came over and was like clapping everyone up over there after the game. I don't know. I was pissed off afterwards. So I still have bad blood, and I'm ready for that match to happen and for us to stick it to them.
Nice.
Well, Shaq Moore didn't really impress in the World Cup, so
well,
we'll get him. I agree. Hate those guys. What do you guys think about their black Johnny Cash jerseys?
Those are pretty sweet.
Yeah,
it's a black T-shirt. And Johnny Cash noted. Johnny Cash noted Nashville hater. Noted.
That is he was against kind of the Nashville establishment and all that stuff. Yeah. Also, I just love when any team does a black jersey because it's like you understand this league takes place in the summer, right?
Yeah,
like that's going to be awful to wear.
It's Adidas technology. So
that'll totally help when you're running around and it's 98 degrees in Nashville in July. Dummies.
I'm so happy that I had my microphone on mute because I choked on that remark.
There are a lot of other surprises here. Earliest Cincinnati version, I believe, of the Hell is Real Derby in May played in Cincinnati. There was one other semi-early summer game, but I believe it was in Columbus. So this one, we get first dibs this year, and that'll be here. That's kind of cool. I'm a little, as somebody who really likes to use MLS games as an excuse to see parts of the country, a little bummed that our Western Conference options this year are limited, but it's just the way the schedule fell. I, like you, Brian, am considering going to St. Louis. I grew up in Central Illinois, so I've been to that town a lot. So it's not that great for me to go there, but I would like to see a new stadium. That's cool.
Yeah. I'll do anything to see us just dog walk St. Louis. So I'll pay for gas. You can drive, but I'll pay for gas.
All right.
I know it's super early, but how bad do we expect them to be? I mean,
what didn't their coach say something super?
No,
GM or
GM says something stupid every week.
Yeah.
What did he say?
No, it was a while ago. So
it still can't beat Charlotte's coach in preseason saying
we're not
a
team. We're not a team that's gonna have DPs.
Yeah, that's what it was. He was like, we're not a team.
It's like, oh no, this sounds so much like FC Cincinnati 20.
Great strategy, bro.
We're not gonna go invest in high dollar players.
In fairness, they got their team. They got their team together early. Yes, a ton of international players, but 8 of them have been in the States for already over a year. So I think there's a lot to like about St. Louis, but I see them like Charlotte where I don't trust their playmaker. They're going to be 9th, 10th, maybe. But hey, they spend a bunch of money on their keeper. And we know how that goes. So
the all international strategy, which I guess is the polar opposite to the Nashville sell every international spot strategy, is that the internationals take a while sometimes to bond. We know that. We've seen it in FC Cincinnati. Other teams have seen it. That's a tough group to just gel to MLS style play. And so that's my biggest fear for St. Louis, honestly.
I want to see at the end of this year, St. Louis, New England Revolution, bunch of pretty young internationals, old as hell MLSers, like MLS All-Star Team 2025, MLS All-Star Team 2017. I really want to see who's going to be that team this year.
Nice. Yeah. Anybody going to Nashville in March? You mentioned Nashville in May. I'm going.
I try to avoid Nashville. Don't want to get knocked out by a pedal wagon.
So this year's interesting. We already booked our hotel, and I kind of forgot their stadium's not downtown. We're going out in the middle of nowhere now. It's like their fairgrounds. So
where do they have it?
It's wherever their Tennessee fairgrounds were. I know it's a big plot of land. I looked it up online, and I'm getting Columbus Old Stadium parking lot vibes. So I think
well, yeah. I mean, have you been to Nashville lately? There is not a stitch of grass to build a stadium in the actual Nashville proper.
Yeah,
for a couple counties over too.
Yeah, they're jamming houses in there.
Is it in the north or the south?
Oh man, you're asking a guy that took a look at
it's in Tennessee.
It's in Tennessee.
Confirmed.
Yeah, but Goodlettsville if you're in the north, and Franklin if you're in the south. Franklin's a good vibe city. It reminds me a lot of over the Rhine area.
FC Cincinnati fans usually, even on the road, find a hot spot bar, brewery, wherever, and chill. So we're not big tailgaters as a community. It's not really our culture. So I'm interested what we do for the Nashville game. It might be a tailgate option, but
I would just set up at a Bojangles and just go nuts.
breakfast I'll do.
Absolutely. Breakfast sandwiches. Oh yeah.
Honestly though, you have earlier in the year, you have some of our better local travel games. So you have
That's
Chicago.
What I was gonna say. Yeah.
Chicago, Nashville, St. Louis, all done by April 15th. So
it doesn't even warm up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but hey, if anybody wants to go out in Colorado in May, that sounds fun.
That should have been the February game. We got to grab some skis and head it on over there.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not to get too bogged down with everything, but I do think Charlotte's going to surprise some people. So we have Charlotte at home towards the end of the year. Toronto away. That's going to be difficult. I'm not excited about that. But then you go New York home, Miami away, Atlanta home. So I do like how our last 5 games sets up for us. We'll see what Miami does. I mean, they're talking.
You actually think Toronto's going to figure it out?
I think so.
Oh, hell yeah, they got.
I think they were
$100 million they spent over the past 2 years, so they got to.
Okay. They've been the top spender for the last 10, 12 years.
Now it is not a really good time for current or former U.S. men's national team coaches, so that might help us.
Yeah. See, Toronto was on a 5-game losing streak at the end of the season, but whenever they made those major signings in the summer window, I mean, they were hot. They were the hottest team. If you remember, they were at the bottom of the table pretty much the whole year. So they just came on like a thundercrack, and unfortunately, they just fell by the wayside. I think if you look at it, I think 4 of their last 5 matches were against playoff contention teams. So it's bad news for them. I think they had Philadelphia, Montreal. They had, I know they had Miami and Orlando. So it was just unfortunate for them to try to squeeze out wins.
Bummer.
I just look at their stats online, and it seems like they're in the thick of it for 2 years, and then they fall off. But their money is always really high. But everyone, you can't always buy success, but you can sometimes buy success, and that's Toronto. They just throw enough cash at their roster, and some years it just works.
The second half of our season, I think is substantially more difficult than the first half. I will say that. I mean, you got Charlotte twice, New York twice, Columbus in there. New York City might suck, but we'll see. But Atlanta twice, Philadelphia. So there's a ton of really good teams over the second half of our year, and we don't know what Brenner and Vasquez are going to hold. So if they're there, I feel good. If they're not, and we're integrating new players, it can get a little scary. I think kind of how you see maybe some teams kind of fall off.
So what's your strategy? Build points at the start?
Throw the book at Vasquez and see what happens.
All right. Speaking of players, FC Cincinnati has made some moves. You guys might have to help me with some of these new names because.
Please
no,
give
we're
us
gonna just
the
watch
best
you
pronunciations. Please do it.
the first.
Miyazaka.
Oh man! Following our last main show of 2022, it was reported that Ecuadorian midfielder Marco Angulo. I'm already wrong, aren't I?
I'm sure Shakira would say it better, but you did good.
20 years old. Was linked to FC Cincinnati. He did actually sign with FC Cincinnati on December 21st. $3 million transfer fee from Independiente on a U22 roster designation. Very young. What do you guys think?
Well, just from the you scour the web to try to find highlights for a club like this. From what I've seen from him, he really is aggressive on tackles. He not so much a Nwobano, but he is a guy that's going to go after it. But he's also going to be a guy that looks to push the pace, kind of like what we saw from Junior Moreno at the beginning of the year last year. So I like the move. I think bringing in a 20-year-old in that kind of position when we are trying to build a diamond, that's a solid move for FC Cincinnati.
Yeah, Justin, I'm just more interested to see where he plays. Is he going to be above Wobodo in the box to box, behind him in the diamond, or I mean even next to him in like that 5-3-2? Like he's pretty well in line splitting passes, good defensive shape, good work. Again, a good tackler. So a lot to like about a super young guy.
I don't think we're in a diamond yet. I think we're still in that 3-5-1. Yeah, or sorry, I get the numbers mixed. But I think he's going to be playing alongside him, much like Moreno played with Nwobano at the beginning, and then maybe if we can start kind of getting a little bit more comfortable with Kubo coming off the bench and getting some solid minutes, then we'll have a little bit more confidence to play up. But right now, our wing backs are critical for the team. So to be able to play so many players just off of your line, I think he's going to sit in.
We don't expect him to like walk into the starting 11 though, right? Like he's probably going to be slow played a bit, right?
Perhaps. I mean, he's coming in. He's not coming in the summer window. He's coming in off season. Maybe in the training, he shows some flashes, but I would expect Moreno at this point. But I would say that he could easily, within the first couple matches, start playing. He's got the quality. He's just a young player, and of course, you don't get enough tape whenever you play in an Ecuadorian league.
To your point, Jeremy, this is the first off season where we are not in a panic mode for any position. Yes, we'd like a new center back, but okay, if we have to go into this year with X, Y, or Z, this is something like, honestly, this is the most boring off season in 8 seasons of FC Cincinnati. True. I mean, Angulo's
kind of a good thing though, right?
But it is.
We're not, we're not turning over our staff, our front office. Like
exactly. Like I there's nothing that makes me more happy than seeing Kenny Arena's Facebook posts that he's in Pleasant Ridge, Ohio, because oh my God, you're here for 2 years in a row, right?
Yeah.
All these guys, they're settling in, and now you have veterans that can mentor Angulo. Wobodo has been here for a year. Moreno's yes, he can't play 90 minutes, but 60-minute killer. So I'm excited to see where those guys go, and we still can't forget about Kubo.
Roster's boring in a sense of I know where I know no one's replacing anybody in the front. You know what I mean? Like no one's replacing Vasquez, no one's replacing Brenner, no one's replacing Acosta, no one's replacing a handful of these guys. Barrial just got re-signed. Guys, a stud. So what was FC Cincinnati's biggest problem last year, aside from defense in certain matches? It was depth. So that's the focus. That's the key to is FC Cincinnati good in 2023? Yeah, if they back up these players, we gotta have answers if a midfielder goes down or if a center back goes down. And before it was a big shuffle game of hopefully this works.
Boston, you're gonna hate me. I'm gonna pull an audible here.
Go for it.
So, we're talking about this, and Brandon Vasquez was brought up this offseason with I think $7 million transfer to Chivas and then another one to Belgium. And there's a lot of discussion like just let Brandon go. This is so in MLS, your windows are not huge. I think Justin said about Toronto, where it was 2 years and then slump, 2 years and slump. This is our window. If we want to be Supporter Shield, US Open Cup leagues, this is the year. So I still think we need another impact player, maybe center back to come in. But I mean, I feel pretty good, guys, about, if we can keep Vasquez and Brenner this year, that we're going to be at the top, even without having to add a tremendous impact player.
Yeah, you got to hope Vasquez stays healthy, man. Because right now you don't have a 9. Sergio Santos plays more of a forward position. He's not a true on-site striker.
Are you worried about Vasquez or Acosta? Because I'm worried about Lucho.
Yeah, I'm worried about Lucho.
I go back and forth on it. I honestly, because we all see Brenner's goal scoring ability and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, you could say Acosta for sure, but I mean, if we're left with Dom Badji playing significant minutes at the 9. That's not good news. That's not good news for anybody. We already struggle on set pieces, even with Vasquez being in.
There'll be somebody else back there. We already lost Calvin Harris, so
yeah,
we still have some shoes to fill.
Yeah, I think obviously center back is the number one position. You can't afford to lose a player, but then outside of that, yeah, I probably would lean Lucho Acosta and then Vasquez. I think right now, oddly enough, I think the 6 and the 8 are the positions I'm not too particularly worried about losing, which is bizarre because last season, 2021, that was screaming. Mm-hmm. We had no center defensive midfielder at all.
Yeah. Well, now you got Wabado, who's top 3, number 6s in the league. That's exciting. We hope Angulo, into Jeremy's point, will be able to grow into that role as a maybe box to box or next to. We'll see what happens. And now you have 2 veterans in Kubo and Moreno in that midfield, and it's very talented.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, you brought it up. We were off while the whole Vasquez thing. I hate to say it, but I think it got a little bit overblown on FC Cincinnati social media.
Sure. So people are like, and Jeremy battled me on this. People are like, well, you need to sell Vasquez to get the next Vasquez or the next Brenner.
Why?
My counterpoint to that. Sure. You need to honor. You need to respect Vasquez. If somebody.
Vasquez just signed a new contract. He wants to be here.
Sure,
homie, I love you. if Leeds comes and says, "Hey, we want Brandon Vasquez," that's where you go. But to your point, you just gave him a bucket of cash, and you say, "Hey, for a year, you're ours. This is our window. Let's win." And then
cash in.
If you want to go to Belgium, that's. To me, it's not a tremendous step up. And we got to respect. We do need respect. If he comes and scores 10 goals in the first 12 games and England comes calling, yeah, that's what you got to do. But
I mean, didn't we get Vasquez on a major discount? So
he's still on a pretty discount. He's not even a DP.
So
we overpaid for Badji, so it evens out.
Yeah. Selling to get the next one doesn't really fall in line there. I think that Brendan Vasquez is a player that's phenomenal. We're still getting him for cheap. We should try to hold on to him. If he needs to further his career by going overseas, then we really need to support that. FC Cincinnati cannot afford. It's not a dream destination for international players. It's a place that needs to do right by its players. So if he wants to go, as painful as it would be, yeah.
No.
I mean, the money's there, but you have to draw in
there's
people
nuance.
into the Cincinnati area.
But this is MLS. I mean, MLS clubs generally don't win that fight, right? Like when a player wants to go, they're gonna go. They're either gonna force a trade or they're gonna somehow get their contract terminated or something like that. They'll go if they want to go.
Yeah, but you want to do it on friendly terms. You want to do right by them so it can show other players that are looking at Cincinnati, kind of like a Brenner situation, a young, talented player. To get that kind of signing, you got to be doing right by your players.
My thought line is just, if Brandon wanted to go to Chivas, he wouldn't have signed a multi-year deal with FC Cincinnati this year. He would have just played out the option, and he would have went to Mexico. He wants to be here at this point in time. He didn't want to go to Chivas, or he would have tried to do it, or he would have made a big stink like a Frankie Amaya. He's fine with this. He just signed this deal. We shouldn't panic about it. Like, just slow your roll, guys. It's okay. If the summer window comes and Brandon's at 14 goals already, and some big league comes knocking, sure, then we can have the discussion of what do we do with all the Vasquez money we're about to get.
Sure, then you can go ahead and profit on a guy you only spent 150 to bring in.
Well, if that happens though, and this is what kills you, because he's not a DP, you don't get to keep. You can't reinvest. You only can reinvest like $1 million because he's a TAM. So we'll rename the training center the Brandon Vasquez Training Center. Congratulations, Brandon. But oh my god, I do think that you to Justin's point, you need to honor it, but as well, there's a point where it makes sense for both parties. There's nuance in this deal. Belgium, that's not it, Brandon. You're better than that. Mexico, you're definitely better. You're definitely better.
All right, we got to move this along. We're getting crap in the chat from our own podcasters that didn't join us tonight about asking if we're still in segment 1. No, you know what?
Excuse me, we're in segment 2. Read the notes, guy.
So Isaiah Foster's our other new guy, a 19-year-old left back, played for Colorado Springs switchback. Kind of had people looking at him last summer. There was articles last summer about how there was this kid in the USL that's pretty good on the left side. So Philly, one of those teams, really interested. So not surprising at all that the Philly 1.5 version decided to go ahead and snag him while they could. Played for Brandon Burke, who used to be the head coach of Bethlehem Steel. This guy replacing Johnny Nelson?
Dude, I'm just going to tell you this, that in our next show notes, I'm going to sneak in I am Ron Burgundy somewhere. That's all I got to say.
Brian did a really good job on these write-ups, so I'm just throwing what you gave me, man.
I think we're excited. 19-year-old aspirations to go abroad again. But we don't know what's going to happen with Barreal. I mean, he's resigned. Where's he going to go? Is he going to be good enough to play in a back four? Jeremy? Is he? Back four guy? This is
where
another
he's playing a more exclusively wingback kind of role.
It's another heavily offensive defender. So that kind of signals to me a back five again. Not Johnny Nelson. He's not Johnny Nelson. He played left wing and left back in Colorado.
This is the guy I think that takes a little bit to break in. This is your backup, in my opinion.
Sure.
This is more of like a slight upgraded Zico Bailey kind of player. What are we talking about here?
Double the cost, I think. I mean, he had people fighting for him, so I'm not sure he's going to be a supplemental spot like Zico, but I trust so much in Chris Albright. and he went to his buddy Brandon Burke, who coached at Bethlehem, and he impressed. So, he's not going to. I don't think he's going to start over Barreal, but I'm hopeful.
Unless Barreal becomes the new 10 backup.
Can we mute Boston?
So are we going like over under 500 minutes this year? Like, what are we talking here?
Over 500, I think.
Do we count Leagues Cup?
There's a lot of games.
No, I'm talking MLS.
Okay.
MLS regular season matches. No Leagues Cup. No, nothing goofy.
Open
Actual
cup.
Games.
How many minutes did Murphy have last year?
I think
Yeah, lots towards the beginning of the season, and then
Hey, Google.
They're not afraid to play players young. Foster, to me, just I watched a lot of switchback games. I would say 5 or 6 in the season. I went back through my notes. He missed every single one of my notes. But going back and watching some of the matches, they're available on YouTube. They're available on ESPN Plus. He's a guy that he seems like a little bit more like Moderita was a guy that you had to have play forward, play a lot more of a winger position. He's a guy that kind of sits in, and I appreciate that. He can drive the ball into the middle third of the pitch, but he is a guy that's looking to get the ball serviced toward in front of the box and then get back. And that's something we don't really have on this team. So if we are looking to get a little bit more defensive, I think having a young guy kind of groom him into that role, I think this is a good pickup.
More offensive than Gaddis, right? But less than Powell.
Yeah, less than Powell, less than Jow. Okay.
Everyone in here is more offensive than Gaddis.
Coach Brad Goff in the building in a flooded California. I hope his microphone works.
Me too.
There you go.
Sorry I'm
Real
late, guys.
quick.
What'd I miss?
You're good, pal. Real quick, I know, Boston, you're going to yell at me for this, but I know you're going to be breaking down several of our new signings, but we're on to our newest left back in Isaiah Foster. But did you have any quick notes on Marco Angulo before we keep proceeding?
Man, we had some comments early on in Alan Cruz's career about Tico Conte. This guy, though, Marco Angulo, he legit reminds me of a young N'Golo Conte. He has all the tools to be a really great player. I hate to put him up on that kind of a pedestal right away because he didn't even quite make the Ecuador International World Cup squad, but he is such a good passer. He's very clean on the ball. He has the ability to drive forward with it and avoid contact. Avoid tackles. So he's not blowing by people with step overs and stuff. He just touches the ball so frequently that people cannot get it off of him. And then when he plays defense, he does it similarly. He doesn't come flying in with big tackles. It's more like he dribbles the ball away from the attacker. It's really impressive. And I hope that that skill set transitions well to MLS because I think he's a day one starter based on what I've seen.
Hell yeah, let's go. We were having that discussion earlier about the necessity of having him be a day one starter.
Yeah, I think you can ease him in because Junior Moreno has shown that he has done well enough. And you all know I've been a Yu Kubo fan since they moved him to that defensive center midfield position. I think he's serviceable there. But Angulo can carry the ball forward as well as Kubo. He's a better passer than any midfielder that we have right now. He's as good a passer as Harris Medunjanin was in terms of long balls with touch. Almost looks like Burrow, hitting up Jamar Chase in the end zone. Just nice touch balls over the top to forwards in the channels. I think Vasquez and Brenner are going to love playing with this guy.
In terms of a skill set, some things I'm seeing, you have like two different thought processes here in Major League Soccer. You have the younger D mids that can kind of also do the box to box, and then you have some of these clubs that are just bringing in like hardcore, deep lying playmakers. What are we? I mean, are we expecting a guy who can do the 6 or the 8? I mean, where do you see his profile in comparison to the guy that's coming over? I'm sorry, I can't remember for Charlotte right now. 33-year-old Englishman that's crazy passer, but not necessarily fleet of foot.
Yeah, I think that he profiles more in the box-to-box midfield role. I don't see him as being a single pivot defensive midfielder. He has the range to do that, but he does not seem like a destroyer to me. He's not, like I said, he's not going and winning 50-50 balls with big thundering challenges. He's much more of like, I'm going to try to read the play and nick the ball off of somebody. So I see him more as an 8, but he certainly could be a double pivot as a deeper center mid alongside Obi. If they play, that 3-5-2 or 5-3-2, 5-2-1-2, whatever you want to call it, I see him as one of those dual pivot roles. Honestly, though, he even has the skill set to slide forward and play as the 10 if like Lucho were to need a break at the end of the game or something. I'm not saying he's going to be excellent there, but from what I saw, even his passing ability, long range, excellent, but even his short range, like splitting through balls, clever little disguised passes, he has the ability to do that too, with the caveat being that he's playing in the Brazilian Serie A league. So it's just tough to tell what kind of competition he's playing against there.
Awesome. Boston, I know we mentioned Barriel resigned. We have Isaiah Foster, but Coach, what do you think about some of our newest MLS draft picks? Of course, our 22nd overall pick, Joey Akpuano.
All right, so it's Apunonu.
Yeah, no, I'm going to
I
screw
learned
that
that.
up. 1,000 ways to say Abadawi.
Right. Poo, like the thing that Lil Bry does in the toilet now that he's a big kid. No, like your kid's favorite words. And new, like the fact that you'll never have anything new again because your kids will ruin it before you get to it. New. Anyway,
Savage.
I have not gotten to see a lot of his film, but I interviewed Coach Eric Nichols, his college coach, and he had a lot of really glowing things to say. So I encourage you all to download the latest episode of Talking Tactics if I ever get around to releasing it, where you'll get that interview. Sounds like we got a guy that has the tools to be a really good player. The one thing that I loved about the interview is that the biggest thing the coach said about him is that he's always the hardest worker on the field, that he is willing to do anything for his teammates, great leader, all of the things that you want to hear. I'm not expecting his coach to come on and bash him, but he did come up with a few things that he thinks he needs to work on too. So he wasn't just looking through rose-colored glasses. In terms of the draft as a whole, I think it blew my mind. Maybe it shouldn't now with the new administration, but it looks like we drafted like a team who knows what they're doing.
Crazy. Crazy.
I mean, GA picks when they were available, a goalkeeper who's on the older end of the draft spectrum, which is really great for a goalkeeper because he's a little bit more experienced and they last longer anyway. Getting that center back depth, that like these are the guys that you come up with that like Henry Kessler, who kind of end up contributing even though nobody sees them as a superstar, that center back depth. So I think that it was a good draft.
Do you think these center back draft picks were for the next team, FC Cincinnati 2? Because I know they were glaringly bad in their back line. Not the senior team is much better, but do you think these teams were kind of shore up the play there and kind of get some rhythm going in that team? I think the problem with that team is just bad rhythm. You can't ever really figure out what you got on that team.
There are a lot of problems with FCC too. I think that I do think that they're future picks. I don't expect either of them to contribute this year, mostly because like Apunonu, who's the guy who has the most ability to do so, is young. He's coming out not as a senior, and he is a guy who is described as tactically naive. Really good player. The caveat there is that he's most comfortable as an outside center back in a back three. So if they do play that and they need more center backs on the roster, I could totally see him occupying that fourth spot behind Miazga and Hagland and Murphy. And then if that's the case, he's going to have to get playing time. So Apunonu's got a chance. I don't think the other guy from the academy,
London Hado.
Yeah.
Air
I
Force,
think he
Air
is
Force.
An athletic prospect, big body. I haven't seen him play, but just the word that I've heard about him is he's more of a project for the future too.
And so let's recap real quick. So with the 22nd overall, Joey, we're going to end it there. 51st pick, Hunter Morris, goalkeeper from Western Michigan, played 3 years at Michigan State. Amazing save percentage, goals against, led his team to the Elite Eight NCAA tournament. And then the 80th pick, London Ajedo from Air Force Academy. Of course, with the Air Force Academy, you have to realize there might be a service commitment. Apparently, there's new legislation coming through that says he might avoid that. But according to Top Drawer Soccer, he was still rated as a top 20 player coming out of college this year. I think he was like 17th overall in terms of quality of talent. So value picks.
17th overall, 80th pick.
Yes. And that's a roll the dice, like see what happens kind of thing here. You know, Boston, you and I love craps in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how are we going to come up on this one? So,
Yeah.
But Jeremy, you've been a part of the development process. Like, is it not amazing that we can throw these 3 guys into MLS Next if we need to?
I mean, yeah, having that second team that's going to be playing regular matches, regular season, kind of its own ethos, that helps. That's huge that they have that, and you're not just loaning guys out to random USL teams hoping that they actually get minutes and get, a good situation.
Well, you don't have to hope anymore, or like let's look back at Isaiah Foster. You don't have to hope, to be drafted by a team that has USL affiliate now. Like you're going to get playing time most likely in any event versus having to go hopefully be loaned out to a USL team to get that PT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad the era of loaning them to the USL teams is over, unless they really just need that extra kick, and you're putting them on a top tier.
Why you got to hate on the Richmond Kickers, pal? Why do you got to hate on them?
It just was good for nobody ever.
Oakland roots, baby.
The only ones I like.
Nisa? Are you gonna go Nisa there? Oh shoot! Are they USL now? They're
USL now.
Are they okay?
Most organizations and clubs that are in Nisa
God.
that are actually well run, they leave because Nisa is not well run.
Okay.
So they're like, hey, we want to keep being a team, and this league seems, we're out of here.
Not to get in too much lower division drama, but they, I heard Nice's getting, the clubs in Nice are getting evaluated by the federation. Yeah, audited by the federation to see if they're stable enough to even start the year. So it's
awesome.
Good. That's always good.
That's the league that's going to change soccer in America. So just wait, guys.
Chicago House, baby.
Still waiting on NASL return 3.0.
Oh.
All right. We're almost out of time, so we might as well move on. FC Cincinnati, next moves. What do we still need? One of you is probably going to say center back. What else do we still need? Holes on this roster.
I'll say that. I'll say center back. Center back is what we need.
Found that low-hanging fruit.
Starting center back. A starting center back.
Yeah, small caveat there, Jeremy. Small.
I think we discussed this in chat a little bit. I still think, obviously center back, but you got to get a 10. You got to get a 10 that's just solid. Somebody who can come in, play solid. It doesn't have to be an expensive player. It just needs to be somebody who understands the position, somebody who's comfortable with the ball in the middle of the pitch and can distribute the ball. It doesn't need to be clinical, doesn't need to be flashy. Somebody who's willing to go back into the defending third. That would be new for this team. Just somebody who could back up Acosta, because if Acosta goes down or yellow card suspension is the least of my worries. But if he goes down, man, this team is really in it, because we would have to completely change the way our formations, our shape. Not sure that Vasquez can create on his own without a couple distributors finding him in chances. So I would have.
We don't play against Aaron Long this season, so he won't get red carded.
Oh, we don't play LAFC? Oh,
I don't think we do. No,
we don't.
No,
we don't play either LA team.
No,
overpaid anyway.
Yep. All right, what else?
Coach, where are we missing? Right back.
Man.
You're going to tell me right back.
Speaking
back.
of solving our backup 10 problems, we need better outside backs because, stay with me here, if you don't have Acosta on the pitch, there is nobody else that you're going to bring in that you can afford to bring in as a backup that can do even remotely what he does because he plays the position in such a unique way. You're going to have to create then from the outside. You're going to have service from there. You're going to have crosses. And we do not have a single outside back on the roster, save for maybe the new kid, because I don't know, that can actually serve a decent ball in there. And then you have Barrial, who's a wing back. And so if you're going to commit for sure to 3 center backs, then, and he's not even really a wing back, then you can put him there. But I think that you need players at both of those positions, unless you see Foster as a starter, a lockdown starter, or at least the guy who's going to play every time you shift to a back 4 or need to create from wide. You have to get somebody in at right back that it's at least going to compete for time, because the backup there is Ray Gaddis. And as much as I like Ray as a guy, as a person, I'm just not sure that he's given you much on the field anymore. You have no true left back who's a true defender back there. Even Foster is a hybrid winger. Foster and Barrial might be similar type players. So I think you need a guy like John Nelson, only maybe that can give you a little more going forward.
Well, I don't know if you can get rid of Power Gaddis. That's the most Philly wing we have.
I'm not saying you get rid of anybody.
Wing.
I'm not saying you get rid of anybody there. I just think that you need to add. I mean, clearly, Ray Gaddis, I think, is expendable, but he's not going anywhere.
Yes.
He's not saying get rid of him. He's saying don't play him.
Guys, what do you think about this, though? It's like, we're built to overcome that. Like, we have so much attacking prowess that, okay, if we don't have quality wing backs or center backs, God, I hope we improve. But like, we're built to overcome some of these deficiencies. Like, not many teams have amazing high quality fullbacks. I mean, Ryan Hollingshead just won a freaking MLS Cup. So,
is he available?
No,
we have a decent chunk of change. I mean, even I think in the off season, we all expected Kubo to be out the door to free up salary, and the current administration, in their probably smarter wisdom, has decided that other ideas could take place. Letting go of Moderita and different ideas to shift the salaries a little bit to keep Kubo and still have a decent chunk of change is what they've settled on. But we got some money. We can go out there and land some of these pieces. I don't know if we'll spend it on a center back or on a wing player, but I agree. Depth's what I want to see, but I wouldn't mind some starters on to follow coach's line of thinking on either one of those wings. And Jeff Cameron's still available, by the way, for center back. Don't think anyone's snagged that up yet.
Noted.
All right. Anybody else got anything else, or are we going to move on? Real quick, Steven Jimenez. We saw a couple of our already young kids get a bit of attention this offseason and into the year. Anyone got a breakthrough prediction? Either one of them make the roster this year?
I mean,
I actually predicted last year that Steven Jimenez would play first team minutes because I was so impressed with him in preseason. It's probably smart that he didn't. But I think that kid has a ton of potential, and I'm not predicting that he's going to play because he's still so young, but I would not be shocked at all, especially to get some minutes in maybe in those Leagues Cup matches or some match that means something, but not really, because he has the tools to make that jump as soon as he grows into that body and becomes, a full grown man.
Brian, you want to give us our roster, where we stand? Maybe.
Sorry, it's going back and forth here. So yeah, I think we're roughly, again, this is guesstimating. It seems like we have about 25 of 30 roster spots, 15, maybe 16 senior roster spots where they fill out. Of course, you have your top 4, Brenner, Vasquez, Santos, and Baji, senior roster spots. Then Lucho Costa at the 10. Midfielders, you have Kubo, Angulo, Moreno, and Wobodo as senior spots. Most likely Kimi, Jimenez, and Robledo, I'm guessing, as supplemental spots. And then your back line, depending on how we go, Barrial on the left, Miazga, Murphy, Apuno, Hagland in center. So that's definitely a deficiency. Right back, Pal Gaddis. Right back, and then goalkeeper Celentano Can and Loro, at least on the senior team. So we still have a ton of space to make certain moves. I mean, we've been linked with an Argentine center back. There's been rumblings of other positions here and out. So I think this is the most comfortable I've ever felt as an FC Cincinnati fan, knowing we still have 5 roster spots left.
I agree. That's weird. It's weird to be this cozy in the offseason.
But if you listen to all the Major League Soccer shows, they're kind of like FC Cincinnati doesn't need to add a bunch to improve. If these guys that have been doing what they've been doing consistently, you're looking at a team that can fight for a supporter shield. And that's exciting.
Yeah,
So
we made the playoffs with what we had. Just add to it.
Yeah, well, okay, guys here, like I've gotten so much flack online about making comments like, yeah, I really don't have to care about the draft. I don't have to care a ton about finding, targets here and there. And that's not a slight, like I don't care about the draft or it's not impactful, but we're pretty, like there's not a glaring, we need X player or we're going to be just bottom of the table.
Yeah, there's no sense of desperateness. That is refreshing. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, no, there's not that like make or break. We need this, and this to happen, and this, all of these positions need to improve this much. Otherwise, we're gonna be a bottom tier team. We don't have that.
No, there are plenty of off seasons to come somewhere in the future where you will worry about the state of the team. So just enjoy this offseason. Let it happen. Let the comfort flow over you. It might be weird as a Cincinnati fan, but just enjoy it and then see what happens when the season starts. Then you can freak out.
Did they give out preseason supporter shields?
There you go.
Like
we do
the
have
Audi
preseason
Cup.
news. I saw that today. We got our first preseason game against Philadelphia, of all people, in Florida, early winter Florida training. FC Cincinnati always heads down to the Sunshine State.
Is that in Bradenton? Where are they going?
Clearwater.
Clearwater.
I'm sure they'll train in Bradenton, though.
A little bit further north.
Players report this weekend. The ones that we have. We have more than last year. And
nobody's like having to fly around the world getting a green card fixed or something like that.
Word.
Like last year.
Dude, I forgot how weirdly bad last year was. Just trying to
I think
scramble together.
I think most people forget that like Brenner was like MIA for a bit there, like in preseason, and then kind of delayed his kind of betting into the regular season.
Yeah, there was some concern there.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about all that. All right, I'm even more appreciative of the off season now. Let's get your random final thoughts. We're at the 1 hour mark. We got to shut this thing down. You can give me what's Brian got in here? Wish list or New Year resolution?
Yeah, I get really upset with. Well, first off, like MLS transparency, but just how MLS doesn't promote preseason. And I know they're still building out rosters and there's a lot of stuff going on, but like, give us a schedule. Give us like stuff to look forward to. I think January 1st this year, Apple Plus should have had a major coming out party. It should have been just every Apple Plus needs to have a welcoming all the players. There needs to be XYZ TV shows going forward. And I just think it's been an absolute failure to launch this year. We're acting like freaking AAA baseball. Like Apple Plus is supposed to revolutionize the money coming in, and I just feel like it's MLS 1.0 when it could be MLS, 4 or 5 point, just craziness. And so I hope there's things going on that change that. But it's just a little disappointed right now when we should be like, MLS time, let's go. Black jerseys in Nashville, yada yada.
Cherry blossoms in DC.
Hey-o.
Well, it's like we used to have a lot more kind of somewhat established preseason tournaments that teams would go and play in, and those I feel like all those kind of fizzled.
Yeah,
Like they used to be stuff
Tucson
in
Open, the Charleston.
Charleston used to have one. Yeah,
stadium, so it can no longer can happen.
That's a problem. So I think you need that. I think the league needs to step in and establish some almost like a spring training kind of thing of just these fixed matches and these fixed setups in Florida or Arizona, wherever. Just if you go to Tucson, don't screw up my leagues out there because we play at the same facility. I can't have those delayed. But yeah, I mean, they just need to do something that's kind of more routine to where every preseason, every January, we know like, hey, yeah, they're going to go down there. They're going to play a handful of games. It's going to be against this, and this. This is where it's going to be. You could even schedule, to travel there and check it out. Like, these aren't difficult things to do. They used to kind of do them. I don't know what happened.
Coach, Justin, you got any nuggets to lay on us as we end the show?
I think the coaches are probably thrilled that there's no fanfare. Getting a chance to get in with your team, talk things over, play some matches that aren't even televised, that aren't even live tweeted hardly. But you're right. As fans, I think that the MLS is waiting for the league to take off to then fill in the demand, when with a league like this, you have to create the demand by driving content first. And I think it's the same with the draft. I think that whether it is important or not, I think you need to treat it as so and make a big deal out of the draft and have interviews with these kids getting drafted and things. And it's just so radio silent. You have to follow things online, and it just becomes a barrier to anyone who wants to try to get into the league or be interested.
Remember when the draft was actually televised on ESPN?
I remember when we would
actually do that.
Cheer, like go to the NSCAA conference and cheer for it.
Yeah, I think they're still licking their wounds from losing the coverage, the media rights.
No, they gotta feature. Oh yeah, ESPN, but no, they just have to feature the stupid St. Louis box stadium so much of their past 5 live streams.
I got nothing else to really add to that. I mean, I think that I'm interested in seeing what kind of kit I'm going to be spending my money on. But other than that, I'm
Justin, I can't believe you. I thought for sure you were going to say, boo Claudia Reyna.
Oh, I could. Yeah.
Oh, you got the Austin
whole another podcast.
I don't have
you
enough
got the
time
Austin
for
FC.
that.
You got the Austin FC scarf back here, pal.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
Gotta represent.
Big Reyna guy over there.
Uh-oh.
I better shut this thing down. It's getting out of control here. I appreciate you guys. It's good. It's been a while. It's fun to get back on here and joke around. Less serious, not in full season mode. Thanks for being on here, guys. Good to see all of your lovely faces again. And thank you, listener, for checking us out. We'll be back more frequently now that stuff's rolling downhill. Players are getting signed. Off season's kicking off. With players reporting, I imagine we're gonna have some spicy practice videos and everything. Mercy Health training facility
Content.
Brush the snow off the building. It's 50 degrees. It's all melted. So cool. Thanks for joining us tonight. We will see you again next episode. Hopefully that's next week or 2 weeks from now, whenever FCC gives us another round of good content. We hope it's sooner rather than later, just like you. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.